Friends, in today's video, we're about to share a story that will leave you absolutely stunned. A powerful billionaire from Dubai and a poor young African woman from the streets. Two worlds that should never have collided. But one rainy night, she accidentally walked into his luxury hotel suite. And what happened next changed everything. A single moment turned into a story of dignity, sacrifice, and an unexpected bond. To know what really happened, watch this video till the very end. If you enjoy the story, give it a like. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Now, let's begin. It was nearly midnight in downtown Houston when a young woman named Nyla stumbled into the lobby of the Arara Grand Hotel. The marble floors gleamed beneath her muddy shoes, and the scent of jasmine oil floated from hidden vents overhead. Nyla had no reservation, no suitcase, and no place to go. She had arrived in America only 4 days ago from Segal, chasing a job offer that vanished the moment she landed. Her contact never showed. Her money was gone. Her phone battery had died 2 days earlier. She had eaten a banana and some crackers from a stranger on the bus. And tonight, it was cold. She wasn't supposed to be in this part of town. This was where the high-rise hotels sparkled like diamonds, and men in tailored suits spoke in whispers behind tinted windows. But desperation doesn't check addresses. Nyla stood outside the glass doors of the Arara, staring in at the golden light, then slowly walked through when the doorman stepped aside to greet someone else. No one noticed her. No one stopped her. She moved like a shadow, head down, heart pounding. Upstairs, the 17th floor hallway stretched in silence. She had pressed the elevator button by instinct, as if lifted by fate. She walked slowly, brushing her fingers along the velvet wallpaper. Room 1702's door stood ajar, just an inch. Light spilled into the hallway like an invitation. Nyla paused, looked left, looked right. No one. She pushed the door gently. Inside, the lights were dim. The room smelled of rosewood and linen. A prayer rug lay rolled up beside a leather suitcase. A large bed stood untouched in the center. Her breath caught. This wasn't a place for someone like her. But she was exhausted. Her legs shook from hunger and cold. She didn't touch anything. She didn't steal. She walked to the bed, gently pulled back the cover, and curled into a ball on the edge. Fully clothed, her scarf still covering her braided hair. And for the first time in days, she let her body rest. 20 minutes later, Isef Al-Mansour stepped out of a black BMW SUV outside the hotel. 38 years old, born in Dubai, raised with privilege, and known across international business circles for running multi-billion-dollar halal finance projects. He was in Houston to finalize a massive partnership with an Islamic fintech firm. His week had been long. Board meetings, phone calls, late-night negotiations. All he wanted was peace, solitude, sleep. The moment he entered room 1702 and set his briefcase on the side table, he noticed the shape in the bed. He froze. A woman. She was curled tightly, her frame small, wrapped in the blanket like a child. Her face, half hidden in the pillow, looked calm. There was no sign of forced entry. She hadn't rifled through his things. She wasn't dressed for seduction. Her feet were bare. Her arms were trembling beneath the blanket. Isef's first instinct was to call security, but he didn't. something in her expression stopped him. She wasn't a threat. She was cold, alone, asleep. Quietly, he pulled the extra blanket from the armchair and placed it over her. Then he sat in the chair across the room, loosened his tie, leaned back, and closed his eyes. It was the first night in a long time that Isef Al-Mansour, real estate tycoon, son of Dubai's elite, fell asleep not thinking about profit margins or investors, but about a stranger whose presence didn't feel like a mistake. And neither of them had any idea how much that night would change their lives. The morning sun filtered softly through the curtains of the private Dubai residence where Amamira now stayed, a far cry from the soaked streets and cold marble floors of the Al Masari Hotel. She had slept deeply for the first time in weeks. Her body, once racked by hunger and fear, had been allowed to rest. And her mind, though still guarded, had begun to believe in safety. Karim al-Rashid had already left early for a board meeting, but he had left a note on the small writing desk near the window, handwritten in elegant cursive. "There's no schedule here, Amira. Just peace. Make use of the books, the garden, the time. I'll return before sunset." Amamira held the note for a long time before placing it gently inside a Quran on the shelf, a symbol of her upbringing, and now a reminder that even in foreign places, Allah's mercy could manifest in the strangest of ways. She walked barefoot across the cool tiles to the kitchen, where a housekeeper named Illa greeted her with a warm smile. "Breakfast is ready, sister," Illa said gently, wearing a light hijab and an apron. "Karim Sahib instructed me to make sure you're comfortable." Amira nodded, still unused to being spoken to with kindness. She sat down and ate slowly, scrambled eggs, dates, a warm paratha, and cardamom tea. Each bite felt like nourishment for more than just her body. That afternoon, she wandered into the home's private library, where hundreds of books lined the dark oak shelves: business manuals, Arabic poetry, Islamic philosophy, and global literature. One particular title caught her eye: The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. She had heard of it in her village but never had the chance to read it. By the time Karim returned, dressed in a navy thobe with a tailored overcoat, he found her on the rooftop terrace, eyes locked on the horizon where the sun dipped behind the desert skyline, book still in her lap. "You found Gibran," he said softly, sitting down beside her. She nodded. "He writes about love and pain like they're one." "They often are," Karim replied. There was a pause, the kind that hung comfortably between two people who didn't need to fill the silence. "Do you miss home?" he asked. Amira hesitated. "Which one? The place I came from, or the one I never had?" Karim studied her face, the faint scar on her cheekbone, the strength hidden in her stillness. "Would it offend you if I said, 'You're not like anyone I've ever known'?" Her eyes met his. "And would it offend you if I said, 'I don't know how to belong in your world'?" He leaned back, gazing at the setting sun. "Then maybe we build a new one." They sat there until the call to Maghrib prayer echoed faintly across the skyline, soft and haunting. Karim stood and excused himself to make wudu. Amira followed a few moments later, asking if she could pray in the home's private masjid. Karim gave her a quiet nod. They prayed separately, but at the same time, each in their own space, their own rhythm, yet bound by something invisible and profound. After Salah, Amamira found herself in the kitchen again, helping Ila prepare dinner. "I've never seen him this calm," Ila whispered as they chopped herbs together. "He seems calm to me," Amamira said. "No," Ila smiled. "Karim al-Rashid is a storm in the boardroom. But now, he breathes slower." Later, they ate together, Karim, Amamira, and Ila, on a low-floor table in the majlis. Plates of lamb stew, rice, olives, and mint yogurt were spread before them. It wasn't extravagant, but it felt intimate. "Real dot after dinner," Karim asked gently. "Do you want to stay?" Amira didn't answer right away. Her heart was tangled between fear and gratitude. "I don't know what tomorrow brings," she finally said. "But I'm not ready to leave." "Then don't," he said. But nothing good stays hidden for long. The next morning, whispers erupted in the media. A leaked photo, grainy but unmistakable, showed Karim helping a dark-skinned woman into his private SUV. The headlines were merciless. Arab executive linked to mystery African woman. Love or scandal. Zinnia. Power and poverty collide in Dubai. By mid-morning, Karim's office was flooded with calls, from shareholders, board members, even distant relatives in Riyadh and Doha. Karim sat silently as his advisor laid out the crisis. "Sir, they're calling it reckless. They think you've been compromised. The media, they're not kind." "I didn't ask for their kindness," Karim replied coldly. "I only asked they stay out of what they don't understand." But pressure mounted. Later that evening, Amamira noticed the tension in his face. "They found out, didn't they?" He nodded. "They want me to send you away, quietly, to protect my name." She stood, tears welling. "Then I'll go." "No," Karim said, rising to face her. "They can take my name, my empire, but not you." Tears streamed down her cheeks. "Why? Why would you risk everything for me?" He stepped closer. "Because for the first time in my life, I'm not trying to impress a boardroom. I'm trying to earn my place in your world." She covered her mouth with her hand, overwhelmed. Karim took her other hand. "Stay. If not for me, then at least until the storm passes." And with that, Amamira knew she wasn't just a girl lost in the wrong hotel suite anymore. She was the center of a story that neither of them had seen coming. The days that followed felt like walking through fire, quiet from the outside, but burning underneath. Karim al-Rashid was no longer the untouchable billionaire everyone in Dubai feared. The board of directors of his real estate empire called an emergency session. His phone buzzed constantly with warnings, advice, and thinly veiled threats. Some of his oldest investors began to pull out. A cousin in Doha messaged him bluntly, "She's not one of us." But Karim had made his decision. He had chosen Amira, and the world was watching. One morning, he stood before the press again. This time, he didn't defend her. He didn't explain anything. He simply said, "I will not walk away from someone simply because she doesn't fit your expectation of what I deserve. My name is not worth more than a person's dignity." Then he walked away. That same evening, a formal letter arrived. He was removed from his position as CEO, effective immediately. Karim sat in silence as he read it. He didn't say a word. He simply folded the paper, placed it on the coffee table, and walked into the garden, where Amira was watering the jasmine vines. She turned at the sound of his footsteps, her eyes searching his. "It's done," he said. "They voted. I'm out." For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Amira whispered, "You lost everything." He shook his head. "No, I lost people who only stood beside me when I was useful. That's not everything." Amira stared at him, tears in her eyes. "What do we do now?" "We start over," he said, and they did. They left Dubai quietly. No press release, no goodbye party, no final interviews. They moved to a small coastal town in Oman, a place without headlines or handshakes, where the sea met the desert in quiet peace. Karim bought a modest home near the cliffs overlooking the water. He let his beard grow out. He wore linen instead of Armani. Amira began teaching English at a small girls' madrasa in the village. She wore a simple hijab, woke early for Fajr, and baked bread with the neighbors. She laughed again. And Karim, he followed her. He joined her in prayer. He cooked dinner. He learned how to listen instead of lead. For the first time in his life, he was nobody's boss, and he had never been more at peace. One night, as the wind howled gently across the dunes, Amira stepped onto the rooftop and found Karim scribbling in a leather notebook by candlelight. "What are you doing?" she asked softly. He turned the notebook toward her. A sketch. A building with arches, classrooms, gardens, a school. "A school?" she asked. "For girls," he said. "In your village." Her hand flew to her chest. "You don't have to do that." "I want to," he replied. "You gave me a second chance. Let me help others find..." She knelt beside him and touched the page. "You're really doing this?" He smiled. "Not for profit, not for applause, just because it's right." Within 9 months, construction began. Amira flew back to Ivory Coast to help with logistics. Karim remained behind, insisting she be the face of the mission. "Let them see you," he said. "You're the reason this exists." But he missed her every hour. When she returned, he was waiting at the airport with a single white rose. "No driver?" she joked. "No need," he said. "I didn't want anyone else taking credit for bringing you home." She laughed, and in front of a dozen strangers, Karim kissed her on the forehead, reverently, publicly. And for once, neither of them cared who was watching. A year later, the school opened. Over 400 girls enrolled. Karim stood in the back, wearing a plain white kufi, as Amira delivered the opening speech. She wore a green dress with gold embroidery, and her voice rang with grace. She spoke of courage, of second chances, of how a mistake doesn't define your future, how kindness can rewrite everything. After the ceremony, the girls swarmed her, hugging, cheering. Some even asked if Karim was a sheikh. He laughed. "No, just a man who finally listened." That night, under the stars, they sat on the school's rooftop. "You lost everything for me," she whispered. "No," Karim said, wrapping his arm around her. "I found everything because of you." And there, beneath the African sky, a girl who once had nothing and a man who once had everything built a life together, not out of wealth or power, but out of love, sacrifice, and belief in what could be. Friends, that was today's emotional story. We hope it touched your heart. If you liked it, please give the video a like, share it with your loved ones, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel with the bell icon turned on for more true and inspiring stories. Till next time, Allah Hafez.